Hey, what's up, guys? Noah Hamilton here. I have the pleasure of, I guess for the last 2 weeks now, training with Mike Asiedu. He's a legend, IFBB pro in Canada. I think I've lost a little bit of motivation in the gym the last little while, and it's been crazy the last 2 weeks training with Mike. It's like totally changed my perspective on things. Super motivated, and I will say, like, honestly, God, swear to God that probably I've learned more in the last 2 weeks training with Mike than the last few years. So it's been like a really a breath of fresh air, so it's pretty cool. So we're gonna go through an arm workout today. So this is a fun one, obviously, but it's Saturday, so we're gonna enjoy this. Hope you guys enjoy. Dorian and I were, I guess Dorian trained with Ben yesterday, and then I was
did they do a
yeah, they're gonna do a couple of things together.
Nice.
Yeah, they were talking about you, but it's just it was interesting because like last night we were just like talking about like this certain things that you were saying, and he was like, oh, that's crazy. That's exactly how Ben thinks too, right? So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It was like, yeah.
Ben and I go way back. Like
Yeah.
99, we started training together.
Mike started training with Pokolsky, like I guess when like Ben was, I don't know, 18 or 19.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, right? Another cool thing that you brought up too was with biceps. That I thought this was really interesting. Was you also curl this here because it protects protects the bicep, but also getting the full extension, because the more muscle you build down here, when you do bring it up, it brings it up to the peak. So I thought that was a pretty cool little tip.
It's injury preventative because in this game here, it's sport specific. So if you're as a bodybuilder, if I see sometimes a lot of guys curl on this, why would you pose this way and then curl that way?
That's true.
Right?
Oh, that's right.
It's a transition from. So I've had a system where taking it from mechanics, right? So taking it from the posing mechanics into the gym, and then made a system that really is conducive to really, the training, right?
Cool.
So another little trick is to mitigate, shoulders, right? Loss prevention. Remember we're talking about, right? Yeah. So keep them apart. Right? Keep don't let them come in. Keep them slightly apart.
Like this, yeah. And when you're doing this, you're also like thinking when you're on stage, like you're right?
Elongating the core.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All the stabilizers. But don't let it come in and leave a bit of gap, right?
Oh yeah, it feels different.
And forearm come and touch the bicep. Range of motion is basically forearm touching the bicep and then extended fully, right? That's it. Hold it down for a bit, right? Sort of like a pose, right?
Yeah. That's one thing I liked that Mike brought up that I've never like heard before, was like the whole, I heard it like when I played hockey, but with training sport specific.
Yeah.
I've never thought of like sport specific in the gym for bodybuilding, right?
Yeah,
I've never thought that.
I come from an athletic background. You see, I was a runner, I was basketball. Basketball is all mechanics. You practice, it's like repetition. That theory is, they've done it with neurolinguistics, all the variable neurosciences that what you translate repetition, that 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the theory. So if you train this way, when it comes to posing, why are we really,
it's pretty much the same thing.
So when you're training this way, it's like, when you go into posing, or you go on stage, it looks very natural. It's a smooth transition, right? Rather than training one way, and then say, okay, now I'm gonna go practice posing, right? An athlete or a basketball player wouldn't shoot a free throw one way and then change it during the game, right? So game simulation, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we're sort of warming up, right? I'm big on higher reps, you know what I mean? We would be doing, the least we would do is maybe like I would say 12 reps, 10 to 12, right? So progressively, we'll put in power factor into consideration. Slightly lighter weight, we'll go more reps. You know what I mean? And then as it gets heavier, it will go down a bit, but it wouldn't be, as for arms, we wouldn't do anything less than 10 reps.
I noticed everything we've been doing has been much higher reps than I'm used to.
Yeah.
Like usually when I'm gonna stop at 10, Mike's always like, okay, 5 more. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But with heavy weight too.
Right? It's just time under tension, right? Muscle doesn't know how much weight it is, so I'm not really big. And then he's pretty strong to himself, right? So trying to mitigate any kind of injury, right? You'd rather put more tension on the muscle, you know, so higher reps, scoring a higher power factor, right?
Notice the weight is a lot heavier than I'm used to. And like I said, the volume too. So it's like, I've noticed just the last 2 weeks that my muscle shape is different just in the training. Yeah.
Allow the elbow to bend freely before I'm coming to touch the bicep. That's a full extension. Good. Pose that. Good. Pull the elbow back a bit more. Press them against your lat. Yep. There you go. Squeeze and hold. Maintain the same tempo. As hard as it is. Forward. Come on. Really don't use. Good. Drive. Again. Drive. Good. Just that. He's pretty strong. He's got a lot of muscle endurance, right? So you can push him. A lot of guys are big on. Again, you notice that as the weight go heavier, that's when we really bring it, right? The earlier on is just warming up the muscle, and then the weight that would elicit growth, that's when it really counts. You know what I mean?
I feel you do a really good job on the muscle that you're working. Like putting everything into muscle. So like when you're doing biceps, you say you crunch down here, so you're making sure here, exactly. Or if you're elongating, because it's the tricep.
Right. Certain principle that go by, right? You kind of live and die by philosophy. It's mechanics. So you will notice what happens when they're posing. Old school Arnold poses, right? They really get down. Okay, so I see guys in the gym and they're doing this. There's got some long guys will ask you, how much do you bench or how much do you curl?
Yeah.
So if you're curling 100 pounds and you're extending using your lower back, how much is it going really in the bicep?
Yeah.
Right? You might give a client, a client may log, I do 15 reps with 100 pounds, but really, what kind of form?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
how much are you putting actually into the bicep and not in the other body parts?
So you notice at the end where, as you get tired, other body parts want to kind of come in. More specific. When you pose him, he's not going to use his shoulder there. He's going to drive it, right? Pull the shoulder away. So that's basically why, right?
Yeah,
pull it away.
That's good.
And the trained muscle does not move, shouldn't move it. Or the joint. So when it's the muscle that being worked, it's always the joint of focal point is the elbow. So if the elbow is moving back and forth, it's a bit of, you're losing something. So it's got to be straight, right? In the vertical plane, right? And then just drive the same thing as you pose it.
Yeah, it's good.
You can't pose like this, right? Everything is in straight line. Symmetry, right? All right, so now we're warmed up. This is basically like a warm-up combo.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into, what do you call it? Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. We go with a barbell, right? And then we will go right over here with the close grip bench press, right? The mirror actually like a side angle. Right? Because mechanically or dramatically, if you're facing it, you can't see if you're leaning forward or
True,
right?
yeah.
So I will use this bicep curl, or basically to make it really efficient, put as much tension on the bicep, you're trying to draw a semicircle. That's basically your range of motion, trying to draw a semicircle. Right? So when you see the moving, you're using your shoulders and stuff to go. So right, every other muscle, it's literally taken out of the movement, just slow, right?
Yeah, so you actually get a little crunch in too, right?
Yeah, same way as you pose, right?
Yeah.
Same way as you pose. I'm paying attention not to make my elbow move, right? Once elbow moves, that means I'm taking the tension off the bicep, which is counterproductive to what you want.
Everything you see in like the Arnold Encyclopedia.
That's it, Mike Metz, these guys, per se. In sports, when you always look for the ones before you.
Yeah, true.
And then.
Is this a podcast or a training session?
Top cats.
It's arms, buddy. It's arms. It's both.
Yeah. So you want to bring the elbow slightly forward, right? In here, that's it. Tighten the leg. So it's an antithesis to the triceps. So you lock the knees, right? Tension in the abs, okay? All the way down. He's basically doing a semicircle, right? Stay even really strict. Pull the elbow down as you're curling, right? Pull the elbow down as you're curling. It creates more tension. There you go. All the way down, full ring. Then you can bring it all the way down. Full ring, curl. Muscle doesn't know how much weight it is, right? A couple more. That's it. It's all in the grip. As it get heavier, tighter grip, and that will get you going. There you go.
Oh my God. Arms is fun. The legs will be interesting in a couple of days. And we're trying to get Robin to join on Wednesday for the legs.
So unlike the bench press, you just literally allowing his forearm to come and touch the bicep, right? Forearm touch the bicep and full extension. Good. Full extension. Squeeze it up all the way. Full extension. Yep. You want every single fiber in the muscle, in the tricep muscle, to contract. Good.
Nice. Go.
Oh.
That's fun.
That's it. Come on, go. Nice. That's it. Make every rep count. Beautiful. Lean forward a little bit, right? Right. Forward. Pull the elbow downward. Come on. All right, two more. One more. Let's go. Breathe. Good. Good. So at least you got that quick stuff.
Oh man. Whoa.
Come on, let's go. You can do it. Tighter grip. Come on. Tighter grip.
Jesus.
Come on, let's go. This is not for the mere mortals. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. One more. Drop the weight. Stay strict. Get a negative too, right? That's it. Right, let it drop. You know you can handle heavier weight, so now you got to really toy with it, right? Squeeze. Come on. Get forward. Let's go. Tight. Come on. Let's go. Tighten the grip. Good. Two more. You got it. Breathe. Last one. Come on. Beautiful.
Jesus.
All right. It'll be better next time. Progressive. Let's go.
Making arms not fun.
Nice and easy. 7. Strong. 8. That's it. Make it count. Yeah. I watched a bit of the Olympia. You know what? They're really good. A lot of talent out there. Great talent out there, right? The bodybuilding now is like, it's kind of going almost mainstream due to YouTube and right, like some of the great stuff that you guys are doing, right? So, and now they're exposed to some of the blueprint that the previous champions or pros have done. So they're literally being handed to them, right? So I've seen now it's growing, right? The condition is, it's getting better. But I think one thing I would add to it is that the bread and butter, I find is kind of like, it's a little bit down. I find they don't train us hard. Like we're doing arms. Thought it was easy there, but we're sweating, right? You know what I mean? And that's just actually after all the body parts. This is actually supposed to be the fun day, right? You know what I mean? So I find if they would elevate the training back to where it used to be, the physiques would be phenomenal. It's already like phenomenal, but it would be next level because it's like automobile industry. Every year you look at the gray areas of the previous model, fix it, upgrade. So they should be looking at the gray areas of the previous, right? So I was privy to like guys like Kovacs, Bob Weatherall, Henderson Thorne. I'll go to the gym just to watch them. I'll speak to them. I watch, my father always said this, a wise man always learns from other people's mistakes. So even if you're not teaching me, just by me being in your presence, I come and sit around and watch what you're doing. And with my mechanics, oh, okay, right? So now you go and talk to him and tell you, okay, oh, maybe he uses 3 plates for this. I say, fuck, if he uses 3 plates, now I gotta up the ante, right? Because you can't bring the same 2020 Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, so it's paying $250,000, bring the same car for next year and say it's the new. It's not, you know what I mean? So that element, the bread and butter, which I said, the training, if the intensity will go up a bit, we'll be seeing some freaky
What do you think of like posing these days?
The posing too, I mean, it's good, but I don't see a lot of exceptional posers. So again, it's there. You know, you have access to. Back then, I remember, what do you call it, was Mark Winston. He was, when I got into it, Mark had all the tapes, Miss Olympia, you know what I mean? So I would get it, and I'd just watch. So I knew everybody's routine. I could tell you the song they did, what year they did, everybody's routine. So in my pro debut, I knew everybody in their weaknesses. I went against Jeremy Charles at the end. He thought he had it. And I knew what his weaknesses is. His hamstring was, you know, his weakness, his calves. So on the pose down, I'm trying to really bring that, which is, those are having my strengths, right? So not only do you have to know yourself, you got to know the competition.
Study your opponents.
Right? So just, when you're in the gym, you're competing against yourself. However, the final stage, when you get on stage, you got to know every single athlete, what they have, what their strong point is, right? And then you want to expose the strong point, just as you hide in your, right? So it's out there. It's just they got to push a little bit more, right?
Maybe refine and polish,
you know,
study and.
We kind of lost the in-betweens. They're more focused on the finished product. Sometimes a guy could go and do a show. He might get injured at the end. But it's what he did leading to the show. He could take that as a fundamental, go into another show, right? So that's really, that's what I would add to what I'm seeing now, right? A lot of great physiques, you know what I mean? But it's just, you don't see that separation. You know, back then you see some poses like Melvin Anthony, Durham Charles, you know what I mean? Sean Ray, these are like Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone. You know, exceptional posers, you know what I mean? And then you also had other B-listers, right? So there's level, but now I find it's sort of nobody's owning to it, right? So I want to go to the show. Some of my best award was when I had a best poser, because that's part of the presentation. So if I had best poser,
that's nice.
That means I'm doing something. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good that's a good award to get.
That was one of the ones I cherished the most, right? If I won a show overall, maybe it was like maybe if the different athletes had come in, I might have maybe come in second or third. But the posing aspect, that just tells me, okay, now you're putting the finishing on the cake, right? Like you go to a restaurant, you're paying big top dollars. It could be taste, you know what I mean? It's actually delicious food, but if the presentation, the packaging is not, right? So I think that's the area where they could fine tune a little bit, and we'll be having some incredible shows, like, you know. Overall, it was like, you know, there were no slouches out there, right? Like really, really competitive. You don't see somebody that's like really, really off. The guy might be slightly flat, you know, but overall, like it was, you know, it's really good. Now you've got you got athletes from all over the world where you'd had British bodybuilders come in and say, oh, they feel they're not getting enough look, right, as the American athletes. But now you see people from all over the world, right? You know, I actually had a few guys to Arnold Classic South Africa. I had one of my guys who won the light middleweight classes, and there were guys from all over the place. You know what I mean? Every country in the world, literally, right? So it's got that international.
Yeah, there's so many shows now all across the world. Yeah, it's good.
You know, and it's kind of universal. Like now, some of the European athletes will come in and say, oh, well, there's a certain look they're looking for in North America. And when guys go and compete in Europe, they say, oh, they're being judged on the different criteria, right? But now, I think the gap is being closed. You know what I mean? It's sort of universal. So that's, from that aspect, it's, you know, the sport's, it's grown immensely, right? Yeah. Normally, the lagging muscles, right? Or the latter part, it's harder. So there are muscles that are already fatigued. So if you can get it moving, that's really where I find the growth comes in. That ladder, you know.
Yeah. And that comes from mental, like being competitive with yourself.
100%,
right?
right?
Like actually really pushing, right?
So you have to manage everything. It's almost like manage your sets, manage your reps.
Yeah.
Right? Just think of a job like you're a director. You know what I mean? You're behind everything, right? So the latter part where that's what really elicits growth. 2/3 into the set, right? So at times when you give a rep range, somebody say, "Oh, it's not everybody." Like so for you, you could push yourself.
Yeah.
I will give myself a rep range that's higher.
But this is the thing. This is what I was saying before. So usually I'm used to doing like 10 to 12.
Yes.
Like at that weight that we typically do, but when I've been working out with you, I'm actually doing another 5 because you're pushing me to that other 5.
Exactly.
So that's that other, 1/3 that I'm not usually used to doing, right?
That's also another variable or advantage having a training partner. Most often I see training partners, what are they doing? If you're doing the same thing that you were doing by yourself,
right? Yeah.
that tandem is not really doing anything.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe you might
unless
have
unless you need someone just to do this for you.
right? Nobody is standing on the stage, right? So it's like at the end, there's a little drive, extra energy to,
Yeah.
right? That's what really.
Well, that's, I mean, this is like a little deep, but I mean, a partner in the gym, that's a partner in life too.
Two
A
heads are
partner
better
in
than
life
one.
is,
That's how it is, right?
Yeah.
So this is why I think bodybuilding, I found in the past there weren't a lot of guys that would team up. But for me, I learned that in basketball. I had a guy who was a really, really good shooter, came from London, and these guys were good shooters. In the city, we were tougher, more aggressive, and more ball handlers, And I wanted a piece of what he had. And hey, so I went up to him and said, dude, come and let me work with you.
Yeah.
Show me how, right? And I could, you fundamentally, he wasn't as sound in the ball handling, so I can help you.
That's nice. Yeah,
And
that's
then,
good. Yeah.
I took the shooting to a whole new level, and it also helped him, right?
Yeah, that's good. Well, I mean, that's team for you, right?
There you go, right?
Teamwork,
So
right?
as much as bodybuilding thing is it's a lone sport. Who's making your meals for you? Which actually, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. There we go. Come on. Don't worry about the weight. This is the mechanics. I'll take care of the weight. Let's go. Squeeze. That's it. There you go. That's it. All right, stretch it all the way. All right, keep it going. That's it. Make it work. Nice. Yep. Beautiful, all the way. Good. 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 6. Come on. 5. Breathe. 4. 3. Come on. 2. Keep it going. Did I say 2? Let's go. Come on. 2. Come on. Let's go. 1. Stick with it. Squeeze. Nice and slow. Beautiful. All right. That was good.
Oh man,
That was good.
oh, I think my brother would like to train with you too. I think he has the similar fundamentals as you with things.
It's always, I always look at things from an artistic standpoint, right? So I found, I came in, I was like, okay, they're bigger athletes, and how can you really beat them, right? And I realized, I see the guys that were very symmetric, I said, look out for these guys. It's funny, we mentioned your brother, because I recall seeing him. I was like, wow, he's symmetric.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Structurally.
I think he's always paid a lot of attention to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So we know, getting big, you're gonna get big. If you're using these principles, it's automatic. You know what I mean? I never worried about getting big, but rather my weaker body parts. So genetically, they used to say, the statistics or the facts were there. Black bodybuilders were lacking in the leg department, but the champions were very strong. So if you want to be a champion, you got to get the legs. I used to see Sean Ray's, you know what I mean? What do you call it? Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler wasn't really that dominant in the legs. He was more smart, right? Yeah. You had Kevin Levrone, all these guys. So I had to go to the drawing board. I said, and if you're building, you build from bottom up. Your foundation. And I believe bodybuilding, your foundation is, the legs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's good.
And I went to who are the guys that were carry the blueprint for quintessential leg development, insane leg development. It was Tom Platz.
That's right.
So I went to his, and I think there's another thing we said that most athletes do. They're trying to they look at your structure, they like your physique, and they're trying to pick it up from where you are. No, I have to go back. What was he doing when he started?
Yeah.
So he was just a squatter. He squatted with high reps. So I said, oh, okay, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So I would just squat a plate and a half, two. I'll squat till I couldn't really squat anymore. Yeah. Then I go to leg press.
Yeah.
Because I classify that as an easy.
What were you squatting? You're doing like 4 or 5 plates aside?
I can squat 5 plates.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've done it for, but even my most impressive is like 4 3/4 for almost like 20 reps.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you have to have endurance. I mean, if we turn in arms like this, and mind you, I only eat very little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're up there, you just gotta really push yourself. You know what I mean?
Why do you eat very little? I feel like Ben doesn't really eat that much either.
No, I never was a big no, was a big eater.
Yeah.
But now also I'm trying to really stay normal. Right? So I want to hover around 250 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm still over 250 pounds, but come down by virtue of leanness.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I could get away, I could eat 3 meals a day and still maintain that, and I'm fine, right? It's more so as a preference because of the hormones, the food that we're eating. Our foods ain't the greatest. A lot of times you see these guys in other parts of the world that everything is organic. You look at their midsection, it's totally different than our midsection. I've had African athletes.
Yeah.
If you see what I do with them on cheat days, you'd be shocked.
Really?
They come back 2 days, there's no bloating whatsoever. Because it's all, you know, there's no GMOs, right? It's in its natural state. So your body can literally handle and, you know, digest everything. Right? So I find a lot of the stuff like I don't eat chicken anymore because why? Just the hormones. When I eat, I'll bloat. When I came back from overseas, I would bloat. Right? Didn't matter. Like guys would think, oh, like I was out of shape. But you know, normally when I start training, I'll be smaller, but I'll be lean. I was bloating every single time I would eat, so I would fast. I stopped. You know, I would just eat even sometimes even just vegetables. You start really delving in deep into it, and you realize, man, there's some pesticides and all that stuff, right?
Wow.
So now,
Horrible.
it's not the fight against, it's not just that if I was in an environment where the food was, I had access to like really, or, you know, food that are very, in its organic state, then yes, right?
Yeah.
So now it's more so of trying to stay away from hormones, you know?
Yeah.
Long life.
True.
Right? And wealth, yeah.
Well, that was our arm workout with Mike. I mean, it's been amazing last 2 weeks training with him. Learned a lot from him. It's been pretty cool. It's actually been a pleasure, like getting to know him and also training with him. Pretty soon we're gonna have Robin join us. Robin's like a beast with the legs. So, and Mike back in his day, probably still now, is super strong with that. So keep posted. We're probably gonna have that in, I don't know, a week or so. So hope you guys enjoyed the arm workout. Thanks for tuning in.